Good day everyone, we are the Group 4 and this is our video discussion presentation. So our objectives for today is explain the function, purpose of fuel oil system and components on board. Discuss the types of fuel used on board and why fuel oil treatment is necessary. Discuss the fuel oil transfer system on board ship. Next, explain the lubrication system on board. Lastly, discuss the four main parts of lubrication system.
So the topic that to be discussed by this group is function, purpose, and components of fuel oil system. So the fuel oil system for a marine diesel engine can be considered in two parts, the fuel supply and the fuel injection system. So the fuel supply deals with the provision of fuel oil suitable for use by the injection system. Then, the marine fuel oil system includes various piping systems providing for bunkering, storage, transfer, offloading, and treatment of fuel oils.
So, proceeding to the components of fuel oil system on board. So, first is the settling tanks. The four settling tanks are located in the after portion of the engine room. These tanks are filled and replenished via fuel filling and transfer system. So the second is the suction and discharge strainers. It is a mechanical separation of solid contaminants from the oil system such as fuel and lubricating. It is achieved by the use of filters and strainers. A strainer is usually a coarse filter to remove a larger contaminating particles. Both are arranged as full flow units, usually mounted in pairs or duplex, with a one as a standby. So the third is the pumps. Though the two motor-driven service pumps supply the fuel oil service system. These pumps are vertical, rotary, two-speed units having a capacity of 20/40 GPM. At 350 psig discharge pressure, the pump discharges are fitted with relief valves set at 365 pounds per square inch, which relief to the fuel oil settling tanks.
Components of fuel oil system on board. Heating coils. The heating coil pipe is one of the most important equipment in the thermal oil system. This kind of pipe is located within each of the fuel tanks, which will be used as a place of thermal oil fluid in order to transfer heat to the fuel inside the tank. And the valves. Valves are a vital part of any piping system, which means that they play a key role in the oil and gas industry. They can be used to control flow rates, to isolate and protect equipment, and guide and direct the refining process of crude oil.
Types and treatment of fuel oil used on board ship. First is the types of fuel used on board. Ships generally use three types of marine fuels. First is the heavy oil fuel, which is HFO. Second is low sulfur fuel, which is LSFO. And last is the diesel oil. Different countries have different rules for burning fuel when the ship is at that place.
Types of fuel oil used on board. Heavy fuel oil or HFO. Heavy fuel oil is a category of fuel oils of a tar-like consistency, also known as a bunker fuel. Residual fuel oil, HFO, is a result of remnant from the distillation of cracking process of petroleum. Low sulfur fuel oil or LSFO. A heating fuel option for oil heat consumers with a lower sulfur content than traditional heating oil. Diesel fuel, also called diesel oil, is any liquid fuel specifically designed for use in a diesel engine, a type of internal combustion engine which a fuel ignition takes place with a spark as a result of compression of the inlet air and the injection of fuel.
why fuel oil treatment is necessary. So the separation of impurities and water from fuel oil is essential for good combustions. Reduce the level of contaminants and conditions the fuel such as that is ensures the fuel is ready for use by the oil fueled machinery that it has no detrimental effect on reliability and safety such as machinery.
Fuel oil transfer system on board ship. So let's proceed to fuel oil transfer system. This system receives and stores fuel and delivers it to settling tanks. Fuel oils are loaded through deck fill connections that have sample connections provided to permit the fuel to be sampled as it is taken on board. HFO is loaded in storage tanks fitted with heating coils. In preparation for use, HFO is transferred to the fuel oil settling tanks via FO. Transfer pumps which are equipped with a suction strainer. Piping is so arranged that the pumps can transfer fuel between the storage tanks and into the deck connections for offloading. Settling tanks are used to permit gross water and solids to settle on the bottom.
Lubrication system on board. Lubrication is essential for any kind of machinery on board ship. Lubrication of the marine engine is purposeful of lubricating and cooling the initial parts, which are acting relative to each other, creating friction and heat, resulting in overheating of parts. Lubrication not only provides cooling but also removal of any impurities.
The four main parts of lubrication system. First, oil sump. An oil pan or oil sump is just a bow shaped reservoir. It stores the engine oil and then circulates within the engine. Oil sump sits below the crankcase and stores the engine oil when the engine is not running. It is located at the bottom of the engine in order to collect and store the engine oil. The oil returns to the sump by pressure or gravity when the engine is not in use. Next, engine oil filter. The engine oil filter helps remove contaminants from your car engine oil that can accumulate over the time as oil keeps your engine clean.
So, the four main parts of the lubrication system. Piston cooling nozzle. The oil cooler is a device which works just like radiator. It cooks down the engine oil, which becomes very hot. Oil cooler transfers the heat from the engine oil to the engine coolant through it spins. Next, the oil pump. An oil pump is a device which helps to circulate the lubricant oil to the moving parts inside the engine. These parts include crankshaft and camshaft bearing as well as valve lifters. It is generally located at the bottom of the crankcase, close to the oil sump. The oil pump supplies the oil to the filter, which filters and sends it onwards.
That's the end of our topic. Thank you for listening and thank you for joining us.